A Muslim from Hertfordshire is gearing up for a huge challenge this week after becoming paralysed in 2017. Ray Saleem from Potters Bar was told he would never walk again after a cycling accident, but in fact, he slowly recovered. He says his faith helped him greatly through the physical and mental ordeal. This Friday, Ray's starting a quadrathlon in aid of comic relief, and we can chat to him now before he has to start training. Good morning.
Good morning, Nighat. Thank you so much for the introduction, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for being with us. Ray, tell us about the challenge you're doing for Comic Relief. I mean, it sounds epic.
It is, and it's one of those challenges that sounded really nice, I think, when I was nice and warm and with a cup of coffee and thinking about it. And then, as usual, when I'm actually doing it and training for it, it's another level. Last year I started off with Comic Relief, did a 4x4 by 48. It was 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours, so 2 marathons essentially in 2 days. 2 marathons over the course of 2 days. This year they came back and asked me for what my next challenge was. And we thought again, Comic Relief supports 4 causes: homelessness, mental health, child poverty and domestic abuse. And we're again keeping with the 4 theme. So we're going with 4 classes, bringing the community together. This is one which I thought I wanted to celebrate with the community as well, my local community here in particular. And we're bringing 4 different classes that I normally do with my local gym instructors and supporting Comic Relief with that. So getting them involved over Friday and Saturday. And then on Sunday is my big personal one where I'm doing a quadrathlon in the gym itself, basically doing a 10K rowing, 10K cross trainer, 90K cycle, and a half marathon on a treadmill, which is going to be, very epic, I think. So we're needing all the support we can get.
And by the sounds of it, so much support is going to come your way. Now, I wanted to go back to the time of your accident. Ray, what happened and how bad were the injuries?
So it was, like you say, 4.5 years ago, September 12th, 2017. Basically, I was on a quest of losing weight. I had got quite big at that stage. I was over 18 stone, 120 kilos, and I had to make a decision to lose weight. My father had passed away. A few years beforehand, he was having heart conditions, and I could see myself going the same way. So, but this was such a simple thing. I had a bike. I was actually going to the gym and clipped a curb going downhill, and basically the bike got caught up in a neighbour's bush, and I went flying over the handlebars, face first, landed with a big thud and basically smashed my whole face. Had broken nose, fractured cheekbones, the neuro damage, the skull had cracked, and more seriously even than that was the vertebrae. My full body had landed on top of my neck and broke my neck essentially. So my 3rd and 4th and 5th and 6th vertebrae had gone into my spinal cord, which had left me instantaneously paralyzed from the neck down. And I was barely conscious, lying there kind of like in a pool of blood on the side of a pavement, which was, really...
And you were told you wouldn't walk again. Those are horrific injuries. And I'm thinking of all of those injuries because my day job is a GP, and I'm just thinking, gosh, that I can visualize that and see that because I've seen that having done trauma medicine many, many years ago. But when you were told you couldn't walk again, did you believe that at the time? That
was as it was. I was still processing this. For me, what I normally do, and those that know me, I'm very into the whole adrenaline and doing things fast and everything else. But this was such a simple bike accident. You simply fall off and you just generally get back up and get on again. But I couldn't. That was the difficult part for me to comprehend how simple an accident it was and what kind of consequences it led to. But for me, it was even worse. I was almost being told that I couldn't breathe unaided, and eat unaided again because of the swelling and the impact it had on my neck. So it wasn't only just the physical aspect, it's all the internal organs and everything else that doesn't, can't process things. So actually being told I couldn't walk again at that stage was almost a bit of a blessing, because they were also telling me that I can actually eat now unaided and breathe unaided. I was almost on a truncated, tube down my throat as well. So, but it took a lot of time to process, as you can imagine. I'm a father of 3 kids, and that was the other side of it. My mum was there, my sister, I'm a support structure here without my dad as well. I was the only kind of male in the family as well, and that had its own sort of indirect implications there in terms of wanting to be there for the family, and now it's the family are kind of trying to support me, and there's so many implications there. So what kind of person I'd be afterwards.
How did your faith help you through the following months? And like you said, you were the support structure, you were a father of 3. I wanted to know how your religious belief, your faith came into play at that point.
Hugely. That's probably the central grounding thing that I had that gave me the hope. Because faith for me is a huge thing, and it's not only when times are good. It's there for me when times were not so good as well. And I'm a big believer in faith. In terms of fate as well, these things happen for a reason, and the simplicity of it all kept me grounded. The fact that, there must be a bigger picture in all of this, there must be a bigger sign in all of this, and that, when things are of adversity, and when you're going through these type of things, that's the thing that really tests a person's, for myself, faith. It's great to have all of these beliefs when you're good, but I think I had that belief that there must be a reason for all of this, and that kept me grounded in all of this. Throughout life, there's always been these issues where at the time I'm like wondering, why is this happening to me? And then later on I realize, and I can join the dots afterwards. And that was just one of the things for me that kept me going. It was just keeping patient, testing my resolve, testing my strength, and seeing how I would react to it. I still kept on my belief. I still, even though, I try and pray 5 times, I pray 5 times a day, but at that time I couldn't, but I was still keeping the motions off that. Even while laying in a bed, I was keeping the thoughts and my prayers and my feelings content, and that gave me that hope to, there must be a sign, there must be a light at the end of the tunnel. But coming back from the trauma.
A lot of our listeners think, listening to this right now, will think, you've gone through a real trauma, as you say. What spiritual advice would you give to anyone going through a similar or difficult experience or a shock in their life? Because you've been through it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think it is that in life is always going to be a test. We're always being tested. That's the purpose of life from our point of view, and it's how we react to that test. If we react with patience, if we react with understanding and spirituality, this is the thing that is there from my point of view, and how I've managed to share it with other people as well. It's the blessings as well. It's so easy to focus on the negatives. From my point of view as well, I was also focusing on the positives that were still there. The fact that, I'm here in this country as well, and that I had a support structure around me. The NHS was fantastic. The fact that I could do this and we could get my focus and my blessings and my rehab to whatever level I was going to. We're all being challenged in one way or another, be it mentally or physically. That's the whole purpose of life. And it was just a case of being structured, being patient, and just keep on focusing on the positives, keep on focusing on the things that I can do as opposed to the things that I couldn't do. That kind of got me through it.
Finally, you were saying that you want the community to get involved with your Comic Relief Challenge. How can people support or get involved?
So we're having a series of taster classes at First Field Gym on Friday between 6 and 8 o'clock. There's 4 classes. You can go back to back.